Well, as you can see, I've got the Oldsmobile in the garage today, and I'm going to take care of a few things, or at least try to. About a week and a half ago, I suppose, I took it for about a 200-mile round trip, and it was cold in the morning when I went up 100 miles, so it ran good, you know, everything was fine. And later in the day, when I came back, it was a little warmer outside, and this thing actually got hot. My little hot light came on. I lost probably a gallon of coolant or so. And so I brought it home and decided to check the timing, because a long time ago I timed it. All I did was I put a vacuum gauge on it and advanced the timing until I had good vacuum, and it didn't ping or detonate, so I said that's good, and I bolted it down, and that was where I left it. But I thought maybe it was getting hot because I had the timing too advanced, and so I threw a light on it. And the timing, I've got marks on here that say 0, 5, and 10, and I was well above the 10. It ran good, you know, I had plenty of power, but it was getting hot. So I went ahead and I set it back to factory settings, got it to run okay. Still doesn't run great, you know, never really did, but I got about, I think it was like 12 inches of vacuum. I got low vacuum anyway. Or no, wait, I bumped it up. I got about 15. So I got a little better than I thought, but I still got low vacuum. And, oh, what am I going to do? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, low vacuum, so set the timing. Alright, I need to rebuild the engine, I'm thinking. Just take it out and completely redo it. But last week, or weekend, I took it out, and I was driving, and going along down the road, and all of a sudden I hear this horrible noise. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then I see smoke barreling out from under the hood. Son of a bitch. I pull over. I'm sitting here staring at the belts, and they were smoking. AC compressor was locked up. And I was sitting there looking at the belts and go, bing, bing, one at a time. Just sitting there. So now I got to replace those. I got to bypass that air compressor, or air conditioning compressor there. And what I'm going to do, because after I disconnected that and I drove it a little bit, it was hot again. It was still getting hot, even with the retarded timing. Well, the timing's set where it should be, which is more retarded than I had it. So I'm going to go ahead today and I'm going to change out that thermostat. I'm going to see if I can find the block drains on this particular engine, see if I can get to them. And I'm going to try to flush out the block real good. I'm also going to flush out the radiator, and I suppose while I'm at it, if it's not too much trouble, I will flush out the heater core. Then we're going to put all new coolant in it. I've got a 60 degree thermostat I'm going to throw in it, just because they gave me a choice between 180 and 160. I said, screw it, we'll go 160, get that sucker opening up, maybe get her cooling a little bit. Water pump's fairly new, a couple years old. You probably can't see that because there's no light in here, but that's new, and the clutch is new, fan clutch, so I'm fairly certain that that's not an issue. So we're going to clean it out, throw new belts on it, and see if that helps with the overheating issue. Alright, now I'm under the car, and I found the block drains. There's one on each side, and they're real easy to get to, which is nice. They got little petcocks on them, but I don't think those are going to open. So I'm just going to take a wrench and take those plugs out and let it drain. We'll see what comes out. And then once I've done that, I'll go ahead and drain the radiator and everything. All the crap should drain out of here. Anything that's small particles or whatever, you would think would settle to the bottom and run out these holes. If it's crusty, like that good old 318 motor, it probably won't drain very well, but we're going to pull those off, get a pan under here, and just see what happens. Well, I'm pretty good at making a mess, but that coolant coming out of there, I can tell you right now, it ain't pretty. You can see that it's just dark and nasty. Almost looks oily, but it's hard to tell. Yeah, it's oily looking. I don't like it, I says. I don't know. Not liking it at all. Now my oil looks fine. Maybe it's just rubbing off of some up higher, I don't know. we'll get it all flushed out of here and we'll see what we got. Well, I've gone ahead and I've taken the thermostat out, and it looks like an old one. Probably been in there a while. And the coolant here doesn't look pretty, so I'm going to go ahead, and now that I've got it pretty much all drained out, probably hit that radiator one time, pull that hose off and get the rest of it, and then I'll back it out and we will flush it. See if we can get all that crap out, throw that new thermostat in, button her all back up, and hope it cools off a little better. I always hated doing coolant because I always make such a mess, but I believe it's all drained now, and as you can see, it's pretty nasty. It's nasty, nasty, nasty coolant. So we're gonna go ahead and flush it. And you know what? If it turns nasty like that again, I really don't care. I plan on rebuilding this thing this winter, but I would just like something, to drive around for the summer. So if this fixes it, great. If it doesn't, oh well. It didn't cost that much for coolant and a thermostat. So alright, let's lower it down and back her out of here and get to flushing. Well, I've got it all flushed out. Some of that stuff that came out of there was pretty nasty. And it's looking awfully dark. I don't know if you can see to the left side of this pan here, but it looks oily to me. That could be a few things. I haven't really been losing much oil, but I mean, that could be it could be a few things, and none of which are really good. If it is oil, could have a head gasket leaking somewhere. Worst case, I got a crack in the block or one of the heads, or who knows. It's not good. But when I go to rebuild it, I'll have to go through and have everything checked, make sure it's okay. And a rebuild kit for this thing ain't cheap on top of that, so that'll get done this winter. I'll probably run it unless it gets worse. And I suppose I'll admit it, when I was flushing this thing, I went ahead and I pulled this heater hose off to flush out the heater core, and it was kind of tucked way down there, and walked over there, got my hose, came back, grabbed the first hose I saw, which was this one, which of course stubs right into the valve cover, and started pumping water through it. That was good. So there's a little bit of water in the engine now. I caught it pretty quick. I didn't dump much in, but still, just dumb things I do every now and again when I'm not paying attention. So I guess I'm going to be changing oil on it too. I think we'll get most of it with the oil change, and then whatever little bit's left ought to burn off. That just sucks. It's kind of funny. I can laugh at it because it's my car, but yeah, well, no harm, no foul. I can't hurt it any worse than it's already been done. So the coolant flush is complete. Now I got to button her back up, change the oil, and we'll see if she gets hot anymore. Hopefully it won't. Well, I've gone ahead and I've got the thermostat in, and I've got the new belts on. I had just enough room to tighten them up. I think next time I change them, I'll have to go with a smaller belt, just a little bit. And I got the oil changed, of course, and now all I'm doing is waiting for this RTV to set up, because they gave me a universal gasket, and of course it wouldn't fit this, so I had to go with RTV on the thermostat housing, but that's alright, it should work. And once that sets up, I'll put coolant in her, and should be good to go. And we'll have to see if it helped it at all, and if it gets hot anymore. Well, I've taken it on a couple of short trips, maybe 20 miles or less round trip, and no leaks, and it hasn't overheated yet, so I'm going to call it good enough for now. Still going to rebuild it later on, but it's good enough for riding around town. I think I won't go on any long trips anytime soon, but hey, I'm going to call it good. I can burn around town in it, so.